Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we have beautiful Saturday morning. I would like to start with a kalam. Kareem has already warmed us up with beautiful zikr. This is the kalam. Name is Secret of Love. Let us start with the prayer which is in this kalam. All of us combined together in our heart. Ya ilahi, तू अता कर दे मुझे फैज़ाने इश्क या इलाही तू अता कर दे मुझे फैज़ाने इश्क ताकि हो जाऊं हमेशा बंदाए सुल्तान इश्क या इलाही तू अता कर दे मुझे फैज़ान इश्क मैं गदा हूँ उसके दर का मैं गदा हूँ उसके दर का और मरीज़े इश्क भी मैं गदा हूँ उसके दर का और मरीज़े इश्क भी या तबीबे आसमानी या तबीबे आसमानी दे मुझे दरमान इश्क या इलाही तू अता कर दे मुझे फैज़ान इश्क ए हसीने बेमिसाल ए हसीने बेमिसाल ए नूर इश्क़ बाकमाल ए हसीने बेमिसाल ए नूर इश्क़ बाकमाल जान फिदा हो तुझसे हरदम जान फिदा हो तुझसे हरदम चूंकि तू है जान इश्क या इलाही तू अता कर दे मुझे फैज़ान इश्क शाह खूबाने दो आलम शाह खूबाने दो आलम नूर चश्मे आशिकान शाह खूबाने दो आलम नूर चश्मे आशिकान गैरते हूरो परी है गैरते हूरो परी है जानिश जानानिश या इलाही तू अता कर दे मुझे फैज़ान इश्क माह मन ए शाह मन माह मन ए शाह मन तो हुक्म फरमा दीजिए माह मन ए शाह मन तो हुक्म फरमा दीजिए है कबूल जाने है कबूल जान दिल तेरा हर फरमानिश या इलाही तू अता कर दे मुझे फैज़ान इश्क ये नहीं मालूम मुझको ये नहीं मालूम मुझको राज क्या है रमज क्या ये नहीं मालूम मुझको राज क्या है रमज क्या इसलिए हूँ मैं हमेशा इसलिए हूँ मैं हमेशा वाले हुए रानिश या इलाही तू अता कर दे मुझे फैज़ान इश्क मैं नहीं तन्हा गरी के मैं नहीं तन्हा गरी के तेरे बहरे इश्क में मैं नहीं तन्हा गरी के तेरे बहरे इश्क में, है सभी गरकाब तुझ में, है सभी गरकाब तुझ में, देख ए तूफान इश्क, या इलाही तू अता कर दे मुझे फैजान इश्क। इश्क से मर कर इसी में, इश्क से मर कर इसी में, जिंदा है हाँ जिंदा है, इश्क से मर कर इसी में, जिंदा है हाँ जिंदा है, ये नसीब तेरा गदाए, ये नसीब तेरा गदा है, जानिश जानिश, या इलाही तू अता कर दे मुझे फैजान इश्क, या इलाही तू अता कर दे मुझे फैजान इश्क। It is our dua to our Mawla on this beautiful Saturday morning that, O Allah, bestow on me love's grace. Ya Ilahi, tu ata kar de mujhe faizan ishq. Shukran lillah, walhamdulillah, shukran lillah, walhamdulillah. Can you all see my screen of Farman now?
जी
Shukran lillah. So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, we start with our Farman, continuation of this Farman of Munjawri, December 31st, 1893. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadi wa ali Muhammad. Maula Murtazali na zamana ma fitna karnar mullao hata, Imam Hussain ne shahid kariya te koi bija kaum na nahi hata. બધા મુસલમાન હતા, ફક્ત એક ફરંગી હતો, ઈમાન લાવ્યો હતો, બાકી ઇમામની સામે થવા બધા મુસલમાન હતા. So in this paragraph, Maulana Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our souls be sacrificed to this Imam, he is teaching again the lesson from history. Earlier in this Farman, he told us the story of that time of Maula Ali. Now he's taking us on the journey of history in Imam Hussein's time. And we all know the story of Karbala. Very interestingly, what we are seeing that in every Imam's time, when we study the history, there are events which are full of teachings and learnings for us. Maula Ali's time, the story Imam told us in this Farman of one individual who always prayed that, Maula, I want to fight with you in jihad. But then when the worldly pleasures, worldly life was bestowed upon him, he started to make excuses that I cannot be, fighting with you. Now, in this paragraph, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah is talking about Maulana Hussain, Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And what we are understanding from this paragraph, let me say it in English so those friends who don't understand Gujarati, that in the time of Maula Murtaza Ali, there were those who were wanting to divide. They were creating conflicts. And Imam here is referring to Mullah. Mullah, remember, is a term used for those who are religious individuals, who are knowledgeable, who are pious, because mullah cannot be an ordinary person, right? Mullah has to have some characteristics to be called mullah. Those who preach, those who teach, and those who guide people, right? So in the time of Maula Ali, there were those mullahs who was desiring division in the ummah. And in the time of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, when Mullah Hussain was martyred, they were not other, but those who were close to him, meaning all Muslim brothers, friends, brothers and sisters, Muslim Ummah. Those who were plotting or creating conflicts or causing problems, they were not far away, they were very close. Very interestingly, in the story of Karbala, when Mullah Hussain is traveling and he is going towards Karbala, one Englishman actually, he believed and respected and obeyed, and gave the path, opened up the path for Mullah to travel on that path, an Englishman. Why Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah is again very strangely teaching us that someone who was not Muslim, who was not in the friend circle of Imam, but he was helping Imam. Whereas those who were Muslims, those who were close, those who knew the talimat of Prophet Muhammad, and they were not also ordinary people, common people. No, we're not talking about them. Those who were teaching, those who were guiding, they were seeking conflict. They were intending to divide the ummah. Baad Imam ne saame thawa, okay. Then those who were standing in front of Imam, against Imam, they were all Muslims. They were all Muslims. Again, this is very difficult lesson from our history which we learned, that the tests, because in this Farman Imam actually spoke about tests. There are tests all the time going on, and we always have to pray that Mawla do not test us. However, we have to have that eyes, that wisdom, that intellect, that knowledge to be able to pass the test of identifying those mullah who are seeking in their heart discord, those who are dividing. But if we do not have knowledge, what happened in the time of Maula Ali? What happened in the time of Imam Hussain? People believed on those mullahs who were teaching them. And those mullah, in front, they were teaching the talimat of Prophet Muhammad, but in their heart, they were impure. Their intentions were not pure. That had led those listeners who were listening or taking the knowledge from them, they were deceived because they didn't even know. Why? Because they did not identify the test which was upon them. We do not ask for the test, but there are tests which are given for us to pass. And if we are not even able to identify the tests which are upon us and pass the test, we will be deceived. And that's exactly Imam is teaching here. So again, let me read this paragraph because it's a very small paragraph, but it has such a depth of understanding. And actually, we've been talking about these kind of tests in other Farman when Imam was teaching in more detail. So, Maula Murtazalina Zamanama Fitna Karna Mullah Hata. In the time of Maula Ali, there were those mullah who had discord in their heart. They were deceiving, they were desiring to divide the ummah. Maula Ali was martyred, and then Imam Hussein's time came in. He was also martyred by no other than, Muslims. They were not other people. They were all closed. In fact, very close members. The way we now know, Abu Bakr, father-in-law of Prophet Muhammad, Aisha, being the wife of Prophet Muhammad, they all went against Maula Ali, Maulana Hussain, and they were plotting and martyring our imams. There were some who were different, and here the example of Farangi, an Englishman, is given. Why Englishmen here and why those Muslim? Why these two different example is given in front of us? And I would refer to, Mission Conference Farman of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah. In that Farman of 1945, Imam is again doing the same thing. He says, all the missionaries and Bhagat together, and the Bohra gentlemen, Faizi and Ivanovo, have more knowledge than combine all the missionaries and Bhagat. Who Ismaili Jamaat was taught by? All the Bhagat and the missionary. They did not have knowledge as Ivanovo or Faizi. Why is that going on? Why Imam in this Farman is telling us about the Englishman better than the Muslims who were close to Prophet in Imams? The difference is we understand from 1945 speech of Maulana Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah that they were knowledgeable. If we do not have knowledge, if we do not work hard on establishing and developing that eyes of wisdom, we will be misled because the tests are very near. They are not far actually. They are not far. Imagine in the time of Maula Ali, mullahs who are speaking in the mosques, teaching people, if they are the ones who were seeking discord, in 1945, Imam saying that all missionaries and Bhagat, they do not know Ismaili Tariqa. All these examples, for us is to think and reflect. Are we passing the test which has been put upon us? Are we passing the test? If we are not passing the test, then Mola says very clearly, why do you ask for a test? Because the test I have put upon you, you are not even able to pass that. So it is very important to reflect on these faramins, to know what tests which are upon us, to realize the Imam-i Barhaq, to recognize the Imam-i Barhaq. In the same Farman, Imam has also spoken about Imam-i Barhaq, recognition of the Imam, relating it to the saying of Maula Ali that if I were not to see the Lord, I would not do the ibadat. Meaning, if we do not have the recognition, the ibadat we do, it's a very low level ibadat. And recognition is hidden. First step of the recognition is in the knowledge. If we don't have the knowledge, and again, knowledge seeking from whom? Those mullahs who were seeking fitna, then we are misled. So again, lots of reflection needed here to be able to see, are we on the right path or do we think we are on the right path? We have to seek knowledge and pray to Imam to guide us to the right path, seeking the right knowledge to be able to walk on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. તમને હુકમ છે કે તમે દુઆ માંગો કે ખુદા પરખ ના નાખે. તેનું સબબ એ છે કે જે કોઈ ઈમાનવાળો હોય અને મોટો હોય તે પણ પરખથી ફરી જાય. Very interestingly, I had forgotten that this was the next paragraph. Above we had talked about the tests. Imam again, after giving us the lesson from history, history teaches us to understand today's time. After teaching us the lesson of history, Imam is teaching us, again, reminding us that I command you, I'm ordering you, do not ask for tests. We do not ask for tests. Why? Imam is saying, the reason I say that koi iman wado hoy, if somebody is with iman, right? We think we are with iman. May Mola keep our iman salamat and firm. But in the words of Imam is saying that someone who thinks that they have firm iman and they are moto, meaning they are like mullah, they are like, bhagat, or they are like big amaldaran in Jama'at, those who we think as moto, with rank or rutba, they are the ones. તેનું સબબ એ છે કે જે કોઈ ઈમાનવાળું હોય, મોટું હોય, તો પણ પરખથી ફરી જાય. Whenever the tests are put on those, even those who are in the higher position, even they also fail. They also fail when the test is put upon them. Meaning, the tests are difficult. In every point in time, tests are difficult. If we do not have the knowledge, we think we have iman and we will be protected because we are khidmat guzar, we are in the court of Imam and we are protected. If we don't have knowledge, if we don't understand what kind of tests we are surrounded with, we will fail the test. That is why we have to ask Imam, do not test us. And the test you have put upon us, because he's saying he is going to test us, he is testing us. And the tests are, he's talked about the test of the history as well. So he's testing us. Those who will not reflect will fail the test. And those who think, remember, it is all about in our thinking. Everybody thinks that they are good. We do not identify where our flaws are. Remember that person, 40 years of ibadat praying. So what did he think of himself? Very pious person. I am doing ibadat, and he kept on praying that give me jihad. But when the time of the test came in, meaning the jihad came in to be with Imam, what happened? All those who were mota, all those who were with higher ranks fell down, failed the test. This is exactly Imam is teaching us, because it is a difficult path to be walking on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. આ દિન તમારો સાચો છે. મધરાતે એક મલાઈક અરશથી ઉતરે છે અને પુકાર નાખે છે, કોઈ એવો બંદો ખુદાનો જે ગુનાહની તોબા કરે, જેથી તેની દુઆ ખુદા પાસે લઈ જઈને કબૂલ કરાવું. છે કોઈ એવો શખ્સ કે ખુદા પાસે જે માંગે તે આપવાવું? એમ રોજ મધરાતે મલાઈક પુકાર કરે છે. Now, very beautifully, the way Imam is Ghafurur Rahim, he is merciful and he is forgiver of the sin. What he says, what is guiding us, that every night, in the midnight, there is an angel who descends from the arsh, from the throne. An angel descends. And he says, he asks, is there anyone who is praying, who is asking for the forgiveness of the sins? Is there anyone? Literally, he's searching for those people. Is there anyone who is seeking forgiveness? And I can take his prayer to the earth to be accepted in the court of Imam. Again, Imam says, is there anyone like that who would ask for forgiveness of the sins at that time, so I can get, forgiveness of the sins? In that way, every night, angel comes and calls, actually. This angel descends and calls. Is there anybody who's praying for the forgiveness of the sins? Meaning, very important lesson here, that earlier 2 paragraphs, Imam is talking and teaching us about those who are knowledgeable, those who are mullah, those who are close. When they deceive the ummah, the deception was caused and discord was resulted and ummah divided. And that test is applicable in every point in time. Even for them, the doors are open for forgiveness. Is there anyone who is asking for forgiveness? Because remember, everyone knows what they are doing. In our heart, the deep truth, we all know if we are sinning or not, if we are honest, if we are sincere or not. We do know. All these examples which we have studied in this Farman only. Are we the ones who are making excuses? Are we praying big things, but when the time of the test comes in, we fail? All these talimat is given to us in this Farman, and also when we are sinners, the doors are kept open every night. An angel descends to ask who is there who is praying for the forgiveness of the sins. Now, in this paragraph, there are again very many points for us to reflect. Number 1, those who realize they sin, when they ask for forgiveness, that means that they will not repeat the sin. Number 1. Number 2, I want to give example of Firaun. Do you know Firaun actually used to pray to God at night time? Firaun, why was he such a powerful king? He would pray to the Lord for the strength and fulfillment of his desires. During the daytime, he would call people to call him God. And we see, we know the story of Pharaoh. What was the result? There are people like that as well. That people pray during the nighttime. They wake up and they do ibadat, they do prayers, but during the daytime, they become the slaves of their carnal soul. They become egoistic. It's all about me, 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 me. When they do that, meaning whatever they prayed at nighttime, it's gone. It's not there. Those who pray and seek forgiveness, meaning that they are mindful, they realize, and they do not want to repeat those sins. They've learned from their mistakes. Once you've learned, then one should not go back to making those mistakes again. Again, the way Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah in his other Farman in Kalam-i Imam-i Mubin says that people sin habitually. And that actually hit me when I was studying Farman, that it is very interesting that those who have been slaves of the carnal soul, when the knowledge is received, it's not that they do not know the knowledge now. They have the knowledge. But because there's a habit of sinning, so habitually people keep sinning. Characteristics of a moment which are given in Pir Pindiyat Jawamardi, Imam Mustan Sribillah very clearly says that those mu'mineen who want to walk on this path, they know that this path is not easy. It is very difficult path. It is a very difficult path. Mu'mineen, when they realize that they are sinning, they will refrain from it. They will refrain from it. They will punish their ego. There is a concept of punishment to the ego. And if we want to know more about it, I can tell you briefly, I have spoken about it as well. One can punish the ego in 3 ways. Punishment meaning weaken the ego, make the ego weaker. And how do we make the ego weaker so it doesn't overpower us? And 3 best ways which are given to us is to speak less, talk less, eat less, and sleep less. These are 3 very, very important ways of punishing our ego, making it so weak that it does not overpower us. Why? Because there are habits, there are bad habits of sinning. Repeatedly, we make same mistakes. So if we pray, if we ask Imam's mercy, if we seek forgiveness, tobo tobo taksirdar bandu sirta pa gunegar, and we continue to repeat those mistakes, how are we going to move forward? Again, this paragraph is very, very powerful, and one has to truly reflect. Reflection has to be individually first, and then we reflect outside us. We reflect taking the examples of history, which will help us understand today's time. Because if we see, the war is going on today in this world as well. Have we not learned from the World War I or World War II what was the consequences? But the world and the power, everything is alive even today too. Meaning, history is full of teaching. History is full of lessons. And here, Imam is purely teaching us about our tariqah. Remember, Imam has given us the example that those who think their iman is firm and they are somebody big, they have titles and they are somebody known. Another example, Mullah mentioned the word mullah. Why? First from Ummah and then other from the Jama'at. Imam is teaching us that be mindful of the tests of today's time. The door for the forgiveness are open for all. And here I would like to say that whenever we identify, let's say, example of Firaun, he was sinner, but do we think if he had one day woken up and asked for the forgiveness and had not repeated the sin, the merciful Lord would have forgiven him or not? I do remember the example of Yazid. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farman, he talks about Yazid, who actually martyred Imam. And Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah says that I have forgiven him. But look at this Nashri community, they still beat themselves. Why? Because they remember that sin they did of killing the Imam. Generations after generations after generation, they are beating themselves up to seek forgiveness. But what is the problem? What is the issue? Issue is the recognition of Imam. Imam is Hazir or Mawjood. Nobody can, extinguish the light of Imam. Some may physically, in the history we see that they have killed Imam, martyred Imam physically. But the light is ever living. And we have Shah Karim. So those who seek forgiveness, Imam's doors are open, but the condition is not to go back and repeat the sins, no matter what are the sins. So what is our duty here? Our duty is to protect ourselves and not judge others, because how can we judge others? Through knowledge, we take the learning and protect ourselves from bad influence, from all those mullahs and those imani who think that they are big shots, but when the test comes, they fail. And if we are able to see that, we seek forgiveness, we learn from their example and not to fall or fail in the tests which are upon us in today's time. We continue to seek forgiveness and we continue to desire to stay humble, to walk on the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim. So here in this paragraph, it is also important for us not to judge anyone. We cannot judge anybody. Everybody has their own iman. We do not know whose iman is at what level. But with knowledge, we are guided to protect ourselves, to pass the tests which are upon us in today's time. ત્યારબાદ મૌલાના હાજરી ઇમામે ફરમાવ્યું, આગા અલી શાહ દાતારે ફરમાન કર્યું હતું કે મધરાતે યા અલીની બંદગી કરો તેમાં સવાબ થશે. તે તમારું છે અને પાપ યાની ગુનાહ થાય તે અમારા ઉપર છે. Now again, this is a beautiful example of the mercy of Imam. Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah is referring to Imam Ali Shah, and what Maulana Ali Shah said, that in the midnight, if you do ibadat of Ya Ali, very important here again, we have to look at the language here, so we keep our minds open. Here, Imam is saying, at the midnight, bandagi of Ya Ali. Now, how easily when we look at the word bandagi, we think of it as Nurani time ibadat. Madrat, there is no Nurani time ibadat. But Imam is saying that those who pray, at that time, Jama'at used to do. Jama'at Khana was from midnight to the morning. So there was a different time. Today, we don't have that. But if those who can, when they're awake, they can. And it's a good thing to sleep less and pray more. It's a good habit. So when we can, we should pray, because it is a guidance given to us that at the midnight, if we were to do the zikr. So the word bandagi is, encompassing word. It also means zikr. It also means Nurani time ibadat. It is also right now we are doing ilmi bandagi. So bandagi word we have to understand. So anyone who wakes up at midnight and does do the zikr of Ya Ali, meaning the bandagi, and in that all the sawab, all the reward is yours. And if you were to sin, and how would that be sinning? At midnight, if you start thinking about somebody and start judging or anything, Imam is saying that I will forgive that sin. The sins are on me, but because you intended to pray more, to sleep less. All reward is yours, and any sins at that time which happens is on me. Meaning, on me what? He forgives us. He forgives us. He's so merciful because he's, magnifying the intention we made to stay awake to do bandagi. He is appreciating and acknowledging the intention of waking up and doing the ibadat of Ya Ali. He's encouraging us that pray more. So we have to understand what Imam is saying here. However, it is as if a father encouraging his children to do good does not mean that we become mindless or carefree when we sit in ibadat. We say, Mawla, we are going to do ibadat and we are thinking thoughts and not working hard to stopping those thoughts and do zikr. So remember, we are accountable, not abusers. Hazrima says the same thing about Betul Khyaal time, that if you wake up in bandagi and if you fall asleep, don't worry about it. Don't be thinking, don't take it as a failure and don't be disheartened. But that doesn't mean that we sit up on the bed to do bandagi and then after a few minutes we lie down and sleep. Or we sit so comfortably that wherever we are, we sleep. Then that's not the way for a moment. So remember, when Imam says like that, it's a blanket statement. But again, remember, Imam knows that we are educated, smart, accountable individuals, meaning that we work very hard not to be sinning because we want to earn more. If we are awake and doing bandagi, let's make use of it completely, fully. And do not miss even a second because we have dedicated that time to pray, to remember him. Mola Murtazali tamaru iman salamat rakhe amin. Jem ginanma kahiyu che tem chal. Why would Imam give us this dua within the Farman? Why? Because he is truly concerned about our iman. And it is related to the test. Can you imagine all this hidayat Imam is giving? So many levels of tests we are in. We understood the test from the history. We understood the test from our own carnal soul. Then understanding the test which we take upon ourselves to sacrifice, make intentions. And then do not keep up with those intentions. Become lazy or become mindless. How many tests are there? That is why it is Imam's duwashis that Mola Murtazali tamaru iman salamat rakhe Ameen, because we need his prayers. We need his prayers because it is very easy to be mindless. It is very easy to be mindless. One has to have time to think and reflect, to remain mindful. And then Imam teaches us that the way we have been taught in Ginan. Ginan is not limited to Ginans of Pir Sadruddin's time, 600 years ago, which we had in our, Indo-Pak Jama'at. The word Ginan means ilm, talim. So whatever has been taught to us in Ginans, in Farmans, in Quran, Hadith, books of our Buzurgwari Deen, we have to read it, not be just listening to others. Different people say things differently. We have to use our own needy intellect to study this knowledge and reflect and think and drive conclusions, apply to our own selves. તમે અરબી નથી આવડતું તો શું થયું? જેને અરબી આવડે છે તે શું બહિષ્માં જશે? અને નથી આવડતું તે શું જહન્નમમાં જશે? નહીં, એમ નથી. So in English, Imam is saying that those you do not know Arabic, those who do know Arabic they'll be going to Bihisht. Is that like that? Imam is saying, asking question. And those who do not know Arabic, they will go to hell. Imam is saying, no, it is not like that. And if you recall, we started to talk about in the book study, Quran in Ism Azam. In that book also we are studying that how Arabic language, which was the language of the Prophet, Quran was revealed in Arabic. But then the Quranic verse we studied said that Khuda Ta'ala speaks to Mu'minin in their own language. Prophet was in the Arabia and his language was Arabic. Today, if our language is Gujarati, when he will speak to us, he will speak to us in our batin in Gujarati. If it is English, he will speak to us in English or whatever language we have. He will speak in our own language. We will have no difficulty in understanding him. So today, us, when we are with education, when we do not know Arabic, it doesn't limit us. We cannot say those who know Arabic and they do tilawat so beautifully, or they are Hafiz-e-Quran, they have memorized the Quran, they are Imani versus those Jama'ati members who do not know Quran, who do not know Arabic. Iman is regardless of the language. Iman is regardless of the language. Iman is strengthened based on the knowledge. So if we have understood the Tawili meaning of the Quran by reading transliteration, we know English, we read transliteration. If we know Urdu, we read Urdu translation. If we know Gujarati, we read Gujarati translation. The objective is to read the revelation, to learn, to seek the Tawil. And when we are understanding the Tawili meaning of it, then that is what matters. It is not that one knows the language, they will go to Bihisht. Because some people have made it all about language. It is nothing to do with the language of Quran. It is the meaning of the Quran. ખુદા માત્ર અરબી જાણે છે અને બીજી બોલી નથી જાણતો એમ નથી. ખુદા સર્વેની બોલી જાણે છે. Beautifully, Imam is teaching us again that do we think that the God only knows Arabic and he does not know other languages? No, it is not like that. God knows all the languages. When we will see the Nur, when our batin will be enlightened, he will be speaking to us in our language, teaching us, talking to us in our language. જે બોલીમાં ખુદાની બંદગી કરે તે બોલી સર્વેની બોલી ખુદા સમજે છે. Whichever language we use to speak to him. I mean, Ya Ali is actually Arabic. Ya Ali is Arabic. But when we talk to Imam, when we do Giryazari in whatever language we do, he understands everybody's language. જો ખુદા અરબી જાણે અને બીજી સગડી બોલી ના જાણે તો તે ખુદા અમને કબૂલ નથી. It's a powerful thing Imam is teaching us that, you know, the Khuda who only knows Arabic and he does not know other languages, we do not want that Khuda. We do not want that Khuda. And why Imam is saying that? Because there are a group of people, I would say, that teach in such a way that only if you know Arabic, then only you are Imani, then only you are following the Lord. If you don't know the Arabic, then you are Be-Iman. You do not have Iman. You are not following the Lord. And Imam is teaching us, giving us that confidence. We don't want that Khuda. We do not want that Khuda who only knows Arabic. We all are his creation and he loves us all. Amne te Khuda kabul che je sarveni boli jane che. We accept that Lord who knows everybody's language. What a confidence Imam is giving us, that do not undermine what we have. Do not undermine our own languages. Yes, we seek to learn languages because we want to study more and more. But be mindful that he hears everything we say, we ask, when we talk to him. And he can speak to us in our own language. When will he speak to us? When we are pure enough. When we have purified our batin, then only we will hear his voice. He is speaking to us. It is possible for a moment to be able to hear because we have this capacity of listening. But what we have done, we have only opened our ears to the worldly sounds. We've not opened our ears for the Batni sound. And for that, we have to pass the tests to purify ourselves. All those tests which we have talked about today, if we do not pass those tests which are upon us, how are we going to listen to those sounds? बाग मौलाना हाजी इमाम में फरमाव्यू हाजिर जो माने ओढ़ो बंदगी इबादत करो दीन ऊपर चालो दीन नो रस्तो अमने पूछो अने दीन ना हक ना रस्ते चालो. Again, very simple 2 sentences, 2 lines, but so powerful. Recognize the Hazir Imam, present Jama. Recognize the present Jama. There were friends who say, when we hear this present Jama, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah is not the present Jama. So why are we reading his Farman? Good question, I would say. We have to recognize Shakari because the light today is lit in Hazir Imam. He's not saying not to read the Faramins of other Imam. The teaching is, the guidance is to recognize Shakari because he is the living light today. But the Talimat of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, Imam Mustansibullah, Akali Shah, their Faramins are there teaching us to recognize the current light. That is Shakari. So today when we read Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farman, and Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, physically that Jama is no more there. It is Shakari. So it is about recognition of Shakari. If Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah announced the final day, final time, the time of Qiyamah, then who is Hazir Imam? What is his status? Have we recognized the Imam at the level of the knowledge? Then Imam is teaching us, do bandagi, do ibadat. Again, 2 different words, very important to understand. Abd is from Gulam. Abdullah, the Gulam, the slave of Lord. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah has taught us. Meaning, we have to understand that we are slaves, we are Gulam and he is our master. And we have to do bandagi like that. Conviction, following of the Faramin with conviction. Deen upar chalo. Walk on the path of our deen. Deen-e-haq, no other deen. Only the deen-e-haq. Deen-e-haq actually is for minority. Majority goes astray. Deen no rasto amne pucho, ane deen na haq na raste chalo. Ask him. He will guide us. He will take us to the haq, the truth. Because this deen is deen-e-haq. It is the true religion, true path. If we find the haq and leave the haq because it is difficult, it is not sweet to our ears, and others are sweet to our ears, meaning we are pleasing our carnal soul. Deen-e-haq is a difficult path. It is a tough love. Deen-e-haq is a difficult path. It is not for those people whose iman is weak. And that is why we have to pray for the strength, strong iman, firm iman for ourselves. Because Deen-e-haq is not easy. We have to recognize the Imam, we have to do bandagi ibadat, and we have to walk on the path of the haq. Haq is one. In every point in time, people are tested to find the truth. We all are seeking the truth. It is very easy for Ismailis to say, oh, Hazir Imam is the truth and we are with Hazir Imam and Alhamdulillah, we don't have to find the truth. But we are learning in this Farman that there are tests upon us to find the truth. If we will find the truth, the path which Imam has put for us to walk on, which is the path of the truth, we do not want to walk on any other paths then. If we are walking on the path of truth as well as other paths, meaning we are not here, not there, but munafiqeen. And we do know the word munafiqeen means hypocrites. And hypocrites, we know by the word, what does it mean? અમને પૂછો તો તમને રસ્તો દેખાડીએ. જો અમારા પાસે નહીં આવો તો તેને બહાર તેનો ભાર અમારા ઉપર નથી. Imam is very clearly telling us, guiding us, that ask him, show me the path. Those who will ask Imam to show the path, Imam will show them. If you do not come to Imam, Imam says, then it is not upon me. So when he shows the path and we choose to leave the path for whatever reasons, using our partial intellect, needy intellect, Imam is not responsible for us, meaning we made a choice to leave Imam being Ismaili. તેની મિસાલ એવી છે કે કોઈ ફકીર હોય અને માંગવાને જાય તો તેને મળે. અગર ઘરે બેઠો રહે તો ભૂખે મરી જાય. તેમાં ગામના બીજા માણસોનો શું તકસીર? માંગે નહીં તો કોઈ આપે નહીં, તેમાં બીજાઓનો શું વાંક? જે માંગવા જાય નહીં તેને નહીં મળે. So this Farman, I think we'll cover it inshallah from this example next time. I'm looking at the clock, so we should end here and we'll continue this Farman because it's a very, very powerful Farman. Again, when I discuss this Farman, I feel I'm not doing justice to it. There is so much more we can reflect and understand. And I can keep talking about it, and then I feel, oh my goodness, I have talked about it in great detail in earlier session. But sometimes you wonder, when Imam keeps repeating the same points again and again and again and again, that makes you wonder why Imam is doing that. Why Imam is doing that? Meaning he wants us to repeat these lessons again and again and again. We don't know in which session, in what Farman, somebody's eyes will open up and they'll wake up to walk on the path of truth. They will do Tobo and leave the other paths and walk on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. We don't know. Everybody's awakening happens in their own time, dependent on how much they are praying from Imam to seek the path of the truth. That help me walk on the path of the truth. I'm surrounded by deaths. Panhaya Mola, Amanya Mola, protect me and show me the path. And when you come to the path, you find it is a very difficult path. Then do we walk on the difficult path or we choose the easy path because it is very difficult? I can't do it. Meaning we defeated ourselves there and there. He showed us the path because we prayed, but then we left the path. So I should end here because there is so much to reflect for us. Ji, Karim.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. It's a wonderful session this morning. I was trying to make some points to discuss, and I gave up because we had covered so many different areas. And I think everybody really needs to listen to this recording again to try and internalize what you've just explained from the Farman. But just to say, the important bit that I felt was that it is so easy to lose faith. And even the mullahs that we think are qualified to teach us and so on, they can also lose faith very easily because of tests. So Maulana Sultan Ahmad Shah was emphasizing for us to pray not to have tests, because that is the biggest challenge. That is where we actually find out our weaknesses and we fall down. Also, I found it very interesting where you mentioned about midnight and bandigi at midnight, which is obviously very important, as Maulana Sultan Ahmad Shah mentioned, and the need for bandigi and prayers at midnight to ask for forgiveness. And also the bit about the language, that it doesn't matter in which language you pray, Mawla always listens to your prayers and he responds in the same language as you understand. Shukranillah walhamdulillah. Friends, any other comments or questions?
I just want to comment, Karim.
Yeah.
Subhanallah, your commentary, your summarization was beautiful. Thank you for doing that.
Any other questions or comments, friends? Or like me, do you think that you need to listen to the recording again to internalize it better?
I see iPad here agreeing with you, Karim, that it is in Ginan, Alim will mislead. So can you imagine our peers have taught us that Alim will mislead. How are we going to protect ourselves from those Alims, so-called Alim? Ali Allah Madad Farma, right?
Yes. It becomes very difficult because you have to trust somebody. And if you cannot trust individuals that are held high in esteem as such within the faith, and it becomes very difficult to know who you can trust.
So you are very right, Karim. When you feel that way, meaning that, that who do I trust? And if you are praying to Mola that show me the path, you will listen to something. It will come to your ears, one way or the other way, to help you, to guide you, because Imam's mercy is always here. And when guidance comes, the question is, how many of us will take it and how many will leave it? Why? Because when the path is shown, it is also realized that the path is difficult. Do you think it is easy to walk on the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim? It is not actually. It is not easy path to walk in. But it is made easy for Mu'mineen. So in the beginning, it is an extremely difficult path to walk in because we are pulled in all different directions. I want this, there is this knowledge, there is that, there is this going on. I want to attend all and I want to learn all and I want to learn about everything, right? But then when we are praying that Mola, this is such a difficult situation, who do I trust? And Imam knows, Imam is the one, he says in Surah Furqan, chapter 25, that tawakkul la yamut, that he says that trust in the one who is ever living. It's a reference of Al-Hayy as well in Surah Furqan. It says that you need to trust, have your trust upon the one who is ever living, who never dies. Meaning, if we are sincerely praying to Imam that show me the path and give me the strength when you show me the path to walk on the path and let go of all other things, all the friendships and all, sweetness or goodness or whatever you call it. For example, let me give you one example. Praises. Praise is a type of a very powerful weapon of shaitan. Praise is a powerful weapon of shaitan. If we are seeking praises, he's going to take us astray. So there are so many things which we have to reflect and understand that how shaitan deceives us. When we do pray that I want to walk on the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim, when he shows the path, do we really walk on the path or we leave it? Because to walk on the path needs strength. And that's why we are taught this zikr, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim, that I am not the one who can walk. It is you who's going to give me the strength. I am without strength and power. But then make a choice to leave things, to, the way Pete has taught us in Ginan, Kutumba Parivar Sajna main sab kuch chhodiya. I have left my family, my friends for you. Why would Pete say Ginan like that? And we very simplify it and say that, oh, from my heart, I have to leave the love of my family and love Mola more. Yes, it is true at beginning level. It applies more actually. The further you reflect and understand, you have to let go of all those who do not walk on the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim. It is not just the love, it is the company. It is those who walk on the path other than Sirat al-Mustaqim. You have to let them leave from your life. You have to let them go. and love Imam more. And I'm very simplifying it because I hesitate to say more because it requires each one of us to reflect. There is so much more to reflect, and it is difficult for this Nachis to continue to openly talk about it because then we enter into judging people. So it is very important for us to refrain from judging, but use our intellect to seek Imam's mercy, his guidance sincerely to walk on the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim. Yes, you're very right. Imam guides those whose hearts are pure. Ji Anis.
Yeah, that.
Malay
I'm sorry. It's amazing. Niamat Saibat. Somebody has just asked me to give her the gist of the Gina and Kutumba Parivar, and you've just mentioned it. It's amazing. Yes, and also the fact that if you really genuinely want to find some knowledge, you really ask him. Sooner or later, he just shows you the path to go to. Like you just mentioned this Gnan. I mean, and then you remember that in our other sessions, I said, "Isn't it amazing that I'm going to do these Gnans in my presentation?" If you remember, do you remember that the Gnan? I can't remember it now, friend. This is my problem. I know it, but I can't remember it. That's my difficulty. It was about you have two eyes for the physical knowledge, but then you have the other eyes, the spiritual eyes increases. Yes, somebody has just written that. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So really speaking, if you're finding something, it comes to you sooner or later. It does find it for you. It does give you that knowledge. Thank you.
So thank you. So Anis is sharing her own example. I can tell that when you are seeking, sooner or later, you will find the truth. But then there's a test. You found the truth. Remember this Farman, the way this gentleman from Shah Najaf, he was asking, right? Let me praying every day that help me fight with you, Mullah. But when the time came, what happened? He backed up. He backed out, right? He did not stay on the path. So it is not only to ask for the path, but with the seek or ask the strength to walk on the path too. Sooner or later, you will find the path. Will you stay on the path? That's another test. Meaning, we are constantly being tested. Every day is a test. And it is with great effort that Momin has to truly work hard to pass daily tests. Life is a test to seek him, to recognize him. Thank you, Anis.
Shukr, alhamdulillah.
Any other further comments or questions before we close the session?
So would you, friends are asking about the recordings, Karim, if you can put the icon there so they can, join the group for recordings.
Yes, I will.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
I have a question that, how can we, if everybody, people who trying to give the ilm, rohani ilm, we learning from a lot of knowledge. So how would we, judge, or how can we figure out that which ilm is right, which is wrong, and how can we, even we ask pray from Allah, but it's still, the confusion that everybody is trying to give the right knowledge. They don't want to mislead people. That's why they come, because they have to answer or go to at the end of the day. So how can we figure out who is right, who is wrong?
So, I understand your question about you, right? But when you say they have to answer, it is up to them. We cannot judge them, right? Remember, protect yourself. If somebody has discord, fitna in their heart, Farzana, how are we going to recognize it? We cannot, right? So they have to answer. It is their job. They with Mola, we don't know about them. We have to protect our iman. Panjikar, right? The way we have been taught in the Ginan that Sarve As Niras, that first you have to take care of your soul and keep the trust and ask from Imam, nobody else, right? So it is so important to not only listen, Farzana, pick up the books and start reading yourself. If you don't read, I do know you that you are a beautiful soul from Farman class, reading Farman, memorizing Farman. And so it is amazing what you have achieved. And it is due to that you have come to this level where you are listening to the knowledge of Quran and understanding Ta'wil. Now it is important to find out, are you learning knowledge which is easy for you to learn, or are you putting yourself into the path of working hard and learning? Are you doing that? Or is it just listening after one session to the other session to the other session? If we are doing that, and there is no time left now because we are busy, we have to work and earn our livings as well. Do you have time to read and to reflect? Do you have time to read and reflect and understand what you have studied? And if you ask Mawla, he will guide you. I have firm belief, and I know you do too, that he does guide us on the right path. So if you're asking, you will find the right knowledge. And then you have to fulfill the criteria to be on that path, meaning listening to the lecture is not enough. I'm telling you, it is not enough. It is the understanding of the lecturer, right, who's teaching. What about your own hard work? What about your own learning? You have to start reading. Pick up the books and read. Even if it is difficult, Farzana, you read. And that is why we do book study. Why do you think I'd like to pick up the books? Instead, we took Farman book. Sometimes Farmans are so easy that we can understand, but some Farmans we get stuck and goes weeks after weeks and we are discussing about the same Farman because we need to really understand those Faramins. Similarly, there are Tawili books which we have to read and understand. If we are reading, meaning we are using more senses, using our intellect, then we'll benefit more. That is the key. Farzana, I'm telling it to you, start reading.
Okay, so a lot the books you guys reading in sessions.
Yes, yeah, you can start there. And the reason we read the paragraph and explain, so it is easier. Books are available in English, in Urdu, and some are Gujarati as well. And then you have session 2. So what I would recommend, you do pre-reading, you listen to the lecture, you do the post-reading, and then pray to Imam that Mawla, show me the path. Where is this knowledge, in its totality, in its completeness, will be given to me, physically, spiritually, and intellectually. So reading books is very important. Only listening is just here. It's not enough.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I try to read Farmans and Paniyate Jama'at, whatever books I have available.
So these are, okay, then there are books online too, right? Like we are reading
Yes.
Quran in Isme Azam. I mean, it is all about Isme Azam. Read that book. That book is very powerful. So you need to really read that book and come prepared in the session so you can understand.
Okay, thank you. I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you for asking that question, Farzana.
Any other questions or comments, friends? I think we've exhausted the questions now, Niamat Saiba. Thank you once again for a lovely session. And inshallah, we'll meet again next week to continue the Farman. Yeah. Yali Madad, everybody.
Yali Madad. Thank you, Kareem. Yali Madad.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yali Madad.
Uh,
Yali Madad.
yeah, Limadad.
Yali
Thank
Madad. Yali Madad.